In today's episode, we'll be crafting heavy modular frames. In order to do that, we're gonna need modular frames, encased industrial beams, screws, and rubber. The entire purpose at this stage of the game is to complete the Phase 3 space elevator part, specifically adaptive controllers. In order to construct one adaptive controller, we will need 5 automated wiring, 5 circuit boards, 2 computers, and 1 heavy modular frame. In our previous episodes, we designed and built a computer and circuit board factory. That factory pumps out 5 computers and 10 circuit boards a minute. We also have a Phase 1 and 2 assembly factory that is already constructing all the automated wiring we need. With automated wiring, circuit boards and computers sorted, we now need to focus our efforts on designing and constructing a heavy modular frame factory. With this factory, we'll be able to craft the last parts needed to be able to assemble adaptive controllers. I have selected this area to build a factory, as it is close to the main road, central bus, a local limestone node, and a train station. We need the road to bring in a continuous supply of 60 rubber per minute from our central storage. The main bus will supply 108 steel ingots per minute from our recently updated steel smeltery. We will need the train station to bring in 438 iron ingots from our newly created iron copper smeltery. And lastly, we need 162 limestone from the local lime node. As for the design of the building, using Satisfactory Modular, I've worked out that we need 5 production floors, with the top 4 floors each having their own logistics floor, similar to all the other factories in the area. As to how many heavy modular frames we should produce per minute, well, if our overall goal is to produce adaptive controllers, then its requirements should dictate our production rate. Each adaptive controller requires, aside from automated wiring, a ratio of 5 circuit boards, 2 computers, and 1 heavy modular frame. Since we are already producing 10 circuit boards and 5 computers a minute, the answer would be 2 heavy modular frames per minute to match the rate of circuit boards and computers that can be consumed per minute when producing adaptive controllers. Since many of these parts are used in general construction, a slight excess of computer and heavy modular frames will always be welcome. So the final production amount, 3 per minute. Now that we know the rate of production needed, we can work out the quantity of materials needed for the factory to operate efficiently. Which brings us full circle to where we started. 438 iron ingots, 108 steel ingots, 60 rubber, and 162 limestone. Let's begin construction. Alright, so this is the heavy modular frames factory. Alright, let's go have a look. We'll start the garage access or vehicle access. So in here, obviously the rubber will get dropped off. This will come from the central storage, and any heavy modular frames being produced will get into this truck station here, ready for distribution to wherever we need it. Alright, let's see. We'll take the elevator and we'll go to the top floor. Top floor, alright. So this is all modular frames being built, along with some encased industrial beams. So originally I didn't have these kind of like support pillars in the middle, going in between the machines. And whilst it looked fine, I just thought adding this will, I don't know, it just makes it looks a little bit more interesting. It's kind of like a supporting kind of like feel to it. Anyways, coming around the back side, these blueprints are just the standard ones I've been using now for quite a while. These are available on my Discord for free, so anybody can go and grab them there. You can even join my Patreon for free and grab them there as well if you like. Anyways, moving on. So, not much to this area, and we'll move on to the logistics floor. Right, again with the red lighting, just to indicate this is kind of like a working area or maintenance area. Again, clean walkable floors, just so you can easily do fault finding or figure out if there's any problems, what the problem is. But yeah, I like the clean layout. I like the ease of access. It just gives it more of a practical feel to it. Right, we'll move on to the other production floors. Right, this is, as you can see, obviously concrete, steel, and reinforced iron plates on this segment here. So all of these are being funneled down to the manufacturer at the bottom. So you can see these are, I believe these are the supply ones, bringing up whatever is needed to go to the various machines, and the majority of the items will go down on the side of the building. I believe these ones are currently just waiting for the manufacturer to process them. Alright, we'll go on to the other production floors. Right, we've got iron plates and steel rods. Actually, correction, iron rods and steel and iron plates. Again, not much to this one. This is these kind of like reinforcements in the middle or in between the machines are just a slight variation of the previous ones. And again, much more designed for aesthetics than any kind of practical reason for it. You can very well do without these throughout your factory, and your factory will still be perfectly fine, both from a practical and aesthetic point of view. I just kind of like to mix it up every now and then. Right, again, as before, we've got the various lifts going up and down, feeding and supplying different resources and moving parts between machines as they get ready to go all the way down to the manufacturing. Right, let's move on. Right, same layout as before. These are screws, all meant for the reinforced iron plates. So screws along with the iron plates combined, and you can get that material. And the reinforced plate then obviously goes for modular frames, and those modular frames are then being fed into the manufacturer to make the heavy modular frames. Alright. Again, like I said, not much to it. It's just a straight layout. Got walkable areas all around, just for ease of access and ease of traversal. Yeah, let's move on to the manufacturer itself. And there we go. Alright, here we go. So this one says, you can see actually just changed now. It says 3, sometimes 4. The machine is actually pushing out 3.75. The target rate that we are going for is 3. Anything additional is always welcome. But as these are fed past the reader, it will sometimes jump to 4 and sometimes jump to 3. I think it's just rounding it off to the closest decimal. And then sometimes it will realize, oh, it's actually 3.75, so let's make it 4. And sometimes the production rate will be slightly less, and then when it reads it, it will read less than 3.5, which then takes it down to 3. But essentially, it's 3 to 4, just to simplify things. This design, usually what I do is the final product I'll have on the top floor, and I thought, well, I'll just kind of mix it up a little bit, and I'll put the final production machine on the first floor, just to make it interesting. These are all, obviously, as you can see, metal pillars, creating the base of the entire building. And then just for, again, aesthetic reasons, I placed it behind this glass area to keep it like kind of like a clean room almost. Alright, let's go through here. And then if you want to have access to the machine, you can obviously do it here. This is how I do the power. I've got these little power nodes. So at the bottom of this one, there's another power node sticking out at the bottom of the floor, which means you can just connect the machine up and it will automatically funnel the power down to your floor at the bottom. And you can just do logistics there. Alright, here's the what I was talking about earlier, the belts feeding the machine. So whatever is needed gets fed into the machine as and when it's needed. And usually what I try to do is I try to get the belt to the closest speed, obviously slightly above. So if it's feeding, let's say 15 modular frames, I think it's something else though, but let's just say it's feeding 15 modular frames. I'll put it on the lift that is just slightly faster than that one. And obviously the screws, I think that's a max belt currently of 480, and the other one I believe it's a 60 or possibly a 120. But anyways, moving on. Yeah, that's the manufacturer. So again, not a terribly complicated factory from a production point of view. Aesthetically, it was kind of a little interesting to make. Obviously, here on the outside, I've got my landing pad again for hover packs, just to embrace that theme as well, going through all of these. But that's pretty much it. These ones here, I'll show you. These are all blueprints, as you saw with the build. So if you guys want these blueprints, let me know. I'll put it on my Discord, and I might even put it on the Patreon. But these are all just little angle bits. Again, just to make it look a bit more interesting instead of just being a box. Now it's a slightly fancier box. And that's pretty much it. Oh, let me show you the one thing. So I've got limestone coming in from the rear end. You're right behind it, there's a limestone node, which is one of the reasons why I chose this one. And it's just feeding slightly more than it needs to the manufacturer, or actually to the machines upstairs. Converts it into concrete. Concrete goes to the assembler. Assembler makes it into I believe modular frames, and some encased industrial beams are going to go down to the manufacturer as well. And there we go, Bob's your uncle. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this kind of content, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for me, you can either join me on Discord, we can have a nice little discussion there, or post it in the comments below. If you want to join the channel, you can either do it through Super Thanks, you can become a supporter on the channel, or you can join our Patreon and you can get various perks along with that. That will be world save and a bunch of blueprint sets that I'm slowly building up to more interesting ones as I make them. At the moment, we've got the train blueprint set available for my tier 2 patrons, and for my tier 1 patrons you'll have the world save, which will be the current state of the game as it is right now. Alright everybody, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Looking forward to the next one. See you then.